We are now going to move on to the in-cab inspection as well as the brake test. So to complete this, I'm going to turn my battery switch on as well as my ignition switch. That is going to wake up the truck, get all the gauges in their appropriate readings, and we can conduct our test. So for the in-cab inspection, I'm checking all my mirrors, I'm checking all my handles, I'm checking my glass, be it windshield or side windows. I want to make sure everything is adjusted properly. I also want to check my seat belt, make sure it fastens properly. I would check all the seats as well as other seat belts, make sure everything's in appropriate condition. My transmission is neutral, my parking brake is on. I'm going to want to check my wipers, make sure they function. I'm going to want to sound the horn and make sure that works. Again, I'm looking at all my gauges, making sure they're where they need to be. I'm now going to adjust the seat so it's where I like it. I'm going to make sure the steering wheel is where it needs to be, as well as I'm going to check for steering lash, and there should be no more than 10 degrees of movement without the corresponding wheels moving side to side when I move the steering wheel. At this point, I'm going to move into the brake test. The brake test is a multi-section test. We're going to start with a static leakage test. I'm with my wheel still chocked. I'm going to push the parking brake in. When I look at my air gauges, they should have started full at approximately 120 psi. When I take my parking brake off, they will drop approximately 10 to 15 psi. I'm now going to wait 1 minute, and I should get no more than a 2 psi drop in pressure. My minute has passed. I'm now going to do a pressurized leak test. I press the brake firmly and hold it. I will get a slight additional drop, and now I'm going to wait 1 minute, and I should have no more than a 3 psi drop. Now that my minute has passed, I'm going to begin bringing my pressure down by pumping the brakes. As I pump the brakes, as I approach approximately 65 psi, when I drop below that, I should be getting some sort of warning signal either on my screen or the red light showing here, indicating that we have low brake pressure. As I continue to pump, when I get in the 20 to 40 psi range, my spring brake should come on, and you should see the yellow brake handle pop out. That shows that my spring brake is activated. At this point, I'm as low as I'm going to go pressure-wise. It's now time to start the truck and build the pressure back up again. So I'm going to start the apparatus. To expedite, I can bring it up to high idle until our pressure reads 85. Once we reach 85 psi, I return to a regular idle, and the pressure should build from 85 to 100 psi in less than 45 seconds. And I'm going to repeat this process between the rear and the front air, both sides. First tank is where it needs to be. The second tank is now building up. I can return it to a high idle just to expedite the test. I return to a normal idle at 85. And again, we should build up to 100 in less than 45 seconds. There may be slight variations to this depending on the make and model of your apparatus. We are now going to let the air continue to increase until it cuts out. So we're going to do the cut out, cut in test. At approximately 120 psi, we should hear the governor cut out, which is indicated by a hissing type noise. So our governor has cut out. We're now going to pump the brakes to bring it below 90 and assure that the pressure begins building again. That is our governor cut in test. Our pressures are building again, so we're good with that. At this point, I'm going to exit the apparatus and remove my wheel chocks. Okay. I'm going to put my seatbelt back on. Close the door. I'm going to put the transmission in drive and increase my RPMs to 1,000. The apparatus should not move. Good. At this point, the last test is I'm going to turn the parking brake off, pull forward at approximately 5 to 10 miles an hour, and step on the brakes. There should not be any pulling or strange noises or anything out of the usual.